Squish
Squish
the
the
fish.
fish.
The
Squish the
fish.
fish.
Squish the
Squish
fish.
the fish.
Squish the
Squish the
fish.
fish.
Squish the fish. And that's what we're doing here on Mafia Minute. Yes, these fish have already been squished, but we want to talk about it. You don't want to miss that. I am Magnum Mills here with Jamie G, doing another episode of the Mafia Minute presented by Caesar Gap Fantasy Football. Like I said, we're breaking down the results of the Buffalo Bills win over the Miami Dolphins in Week 9. Thank you very much for checking out the Mafia Minute. Like I said, presented by Caesar Gap Fantasy Football. Find us wherever you get your pods and on YouTube, on social media at CSGAPFF, and on the World Wide Web at MafiaMinute.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to press the thumb. Jamie G, I bet you're feeling pretty good today, eh?
It was good to get a win that wasn't a, don't get me wrong, I love blowout wins, but it was good to fight through and win a grimy one, win a tough one here, win a tough game against a divisional opponent that is desperate. You're getting every single thing they got, and to come out on top and to do it the way we did, pretty awesome. It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but take them how we can get them. 7-2, Bills Mafia. Let's go.
And before we get into the game review, let's talk about the Bills on parade, the latest Buffalo Bills news and whatnot. Not much here other than the Bills Mafia just doing what they do best. And that's when something good happens, they give money away. This time they've been donating to 10 Lives Club. This is an animal shelter in Western New York. After Tyler Bass hit that big 61-yard field goal, they began seeing an influx of donations, already over 2K and counting, with fans donating in the amount of $61 as a nod to the T-Bass kick. Jamie G, of all the things that we thought might happen for this game, Tyler Bass kick's 61-yard game winner was not on my bingo card. I'll be the first to admit that. How about yourself?
I was not at all thinking that that would be the case. But what sweet poetic justice! Just really happy for T Bass, man. He's had a really bad stretch dating back to the playoff game last year. Look, the guy got death threats and stuff. I was as mad as anybody when he didn't hit that kick in the playoffs, and I've been down on him. But it was awesome for him to come out there, man, and hit that big one, especially after missing one and being a little bit shaky and missing the extra point earlier in this game. So just, dude, that's just sports. And it's freaking awesome. And I think that's why we all love sports. You get those type of moments, those type of stories. It was so special to see them all choking up in the locker room and stuff. Just awesome shit, man. Awesome shit.
It's so crazy because after he missed that extra point, I literally get the scene from Godfather. Right? Oh, Paulie won't see him no more. I'm like, well, that's the end of T-Bass. And then he kicks that, just the swing of emotions and just the outcomes. I mean, now his job's got to be secure for at least a little while. I think he's bought himself a couple of weeks with that one. And maybe the key is just skip the 50-yarders. Like if it's, a 51-yarder, just take 2 delay games, get it to 61, and then go ahead and boot it, right? Maybe that's just the problem. He can't hit between 50 and 59. He's good 49 and under, 60 and over. It's just the 50s for some reason. Maybe it's just some kind of mental block with the numbers or something. He's got the yips just from that particular. It's like a golfer who just can't hit their 9-iron. You know what I mean? They're fine if they get closer or further away, but when they get their 9-iron in their hand, all of a sudden it's just not happening the way they want it to. So, and that's not a euphemism for anything.
I think this is really just I think it really, what you're hoping here is that whatever was going on in his head, whatever issues he was having, this galvanized him, this galvanized the team, and you see his confidence back. I remember when he was a young player, either year one or year two, he messed up and cost the team a game, and he started doing this one line under the eye thing here, and dude, he got hot, and he became almost automatic. He was one of the best place kickers in the league. I think it's just a confidence thing. I think his confidence was down. I'm really hoping that this turns the course, man. I'm proud of T Bass. That was a big moment in the game.
Yeah, because he started painting his face after that time in Washington when he was hitchhiking and the cops started harassing him, and then he was out in the woods and it turned into a whole bloodbath. And wait, am I confusing the events of Tyler Bass's life with the events of the life of John Rambo? I do that sometimes. Anyways, let's get into our game review, starting with the injury report. Not a perfect one. Had a couple of surprises going into the game and a couple of injuries in the game. What's it looking like, Jamie G? Give us the breakdown, the MASH report coming out of week 9.
Well, heading into week 9, we saw Amari Cooper was out, did not play week 9 with the wrist. I do expect him to be back week 10, and I think we're going to need him. A little bit of a surprise for me before game time here, had me a little worried, was lockdown corner Christian Benford here out with the wrist. I didn't really see this one coming at all. Really caught me off guard. I am hoping that he is back for week 10, waiting to hear some stuff throughout this week here on how he's progressing. Let's hope he gets in there and practices on Wednesday. Week 9, Taron Johnson, he got hurt, looked like it was something with his back or hip, missed 3 plays, came back in, made a big play punching the ball out of Mostert in this one, so causing a fumble that we scored on. Really kind of took the momentum away from Miami here. So seemed like we dodged a bullet. Looks like he's going to be okay. Big one here, Mills, wide receiver, Keon Coleman. Something happened with his wrist, arm late in the game here. Tried to catch a pass, got a dirty hit from Poyer. Poyer was penalized. I expect him to be fined for this one. He came out signaling that something was wrong with his arm. Less than a minute left in the game. You hate to see these type of injuries late in the game like that. He was spotted wearing a brace after coming out of the X-ray room on his right wrist after the game. We'll monitor that. Worried about him. I expect him to miss a little bit of time here. It was a pretty big hit, man. Definitely helmet to helmet. Definitely defenseless. And Poyer, you know,
I just wanna tell you all, go yourself.
I'm not even gonna say anything. It's just pretty ridiculous. But that penalty, it extended the drive, and we went on to win. So I think the Bills got the last laugh there, 2-0, a sweep of the Dolphins this year. So there you go, Poyer. Enjoy your life in Miami, you dick. Anyway, defensive end, Dwayne Smoot, he also suffered a rib. Got a lot of risk going on. Also with the wrist injury, he was taken for X-rays, initially ruled questionable return before being ruled out. So we'll see what's going on here. Just a bad case of the wrist here. Casey Toohill seemed to be in a ton of pain. He's been a big rotational piece on the defensive end and hurt his knee here. Came out. I think it was the first play of the fourth quarter, but returned. He missed just a handful of snaps. He looks to be okay. And then cornerback Khair Alam, who got the start and played significant snaps here with Christian Benford out, hurt his shoulder, suffered an injury trying to cover Tariq Hill in the third quarter, missed the remainder of the possession before returning to action. So it looks like he should be okay as well. Look, we always want to hope to dodge any major bullets, but I think it's still a little bit too early for me to be optimistic here with some of these guys, most notably Keon Coleman, who's really been coming on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you do worry about the wrist epidemic all of a sudden. It's weird. It's not an injury that you seem to get a lot, and now all of a sudden there are a whole bunch of them. So hopefully they can overcome that, and hopefully the Beneford thing doesn't linger. But my guess is that probably kills any chance of them trading Khair Alam before the deadline. Right now, you probably want to make sure you have that depth, I would think.
I don't know that they would have gotten who they wanted, gotten what they wanted out of Caroline, but
Yeah, you're maybe swapping to like him in a fifth for a fourth or something. Is that kind of marginal upgrade worth it really? Maybe in a vacuum if you knew you were going to move on from him next year, but if he is kind of the first man up there, if you have an injury and given the the injuries that you have suffered, it probably makes more sense to keep him around, I think. Let's look at the final score prediction here. Jamie G, you weren't off by that much. You're going to be happy with the result, obviously. You had the Bills scoring 28 points, beating the Dolphins, only scoring 13 points. You were very close on the Bills score. You said 28. They actually scored 30, but the Dolphins did double up, basically. They scored 27. A little bit too close for comfort, but you got the right outcome, and you were very close on the Bills' final score. So I think you can call this one a win for yourself, right? You can be pretty happy about this one.
happy because the outcome was what it was. Again, not perfect here. The defense really needs to shore up. It was pretty pathetic at times watching the run game. You knew they were going to run the football, and guys are untouched 7-8 yards, until they get the first contact. So pretty bad stuff there. We'll see what happens. I think that the Bills didn't expect the running game. I think they expected something different, and Miami just leaned on it because it worked. But either way, we got the win. We'll take it, Mills. I was pretty close. But as long as we're in the win column, I'm happy.
And let's move into the keys to victory. Jamie G's keys. You know my keys. You had 4 keys to victory for the Bills in this matchup. I need you to give a grade to those 4 keys. How did they do?
First up, we were going to establish the rushing attack and use it to dominate time of possession. Mills, unfortunately, this was a fail. We rushed the ball 19 times for 94 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, but we lost the time of possession battle to Miami by almost 4 minutes. And you can kind of see early on, we were struggling to get the big, consistent chunk rushing yards that we've been accustomed to seeing out of James Cook that we saw the first time we played Miami back in week 2. They really came into this game with a plan to stop our run. And, you got to give them credit there. So this one, we did not get a passing grade on Jamie G's keys for key 1. Key number 2, score early and often and force Miami to be one-dimensional on offense. We kind of failed at this one too. We punted on our first drive, only managed to get 2 field goals in the first half, shot ourselves in the foot, whether it was penalties or whether it was drop passes there in the red zone area. We just didn't have the red zone efficiency that we need to have. So unfortunately, this one's a fail too. I mean, we were trailing 6-10. It's not the end of the world, but we allowed Miami to be balanced. And we allowed them to continue to feed the rushing attack. 31 rushing attempts, 28 passing attempts. That's a recipe for success for Miami. So we did not dictate the game that we wanted to play in terms of making them one-dimensional. Key number 3, get pressure on Tua. Even if we didn't rack up the sacks, I wanted the Bills to, the pass rush to always be on his mind and always get after him. This was a fail too. I mean, we had 1 sack by Gregory Rousseau, 2 quarterback hits, but Tua had, he only had 3 incompletions on 28 pass attempts. We didn't get there in time. We didn't get our hands up to block the football. We just didn't win at the defensive line of scrimmage. He was able to get into a rhythm here, and he was effective passing the football. We even saw him make some, chunk plays down the field, which we hadn't really seen a lot of with Bills, playing Miami over the years. So that's also a fail. Not off to a good start here. 3 keys, 3 fails. Number 4. Do not let the Dolphins wide receivers get a free release. Jam them at the line and disrupt their timing. Mills, we finally, and I mean finally, have a pass. The Dolphins, they absolutely did their damage in the passing game with Devon Achane in the tight ends with short, scripted, quick release plays. They weren't, long developing plays down the field with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle running wild. The wide receivers for Miami combined of 9 receptions, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Not a bad day for them, but I think we did a pretty good job jamming them at the line of scrimmage, especially considering we were down our best corner in Christian Benford, and we lost Taron Johnson for a couple of plays there. So I think all in all, I like that they made an effort to really jam them at the line, disrupt the quick play release, force 2 into the checkdowns with the running back and the tight end.
Yeah, and if you were going to comb over the Dolphins jerseys at the end of the game, you might find traces of raspberry in there. I mean, the jam was very effective, and you also had some predictions for the game. We like our predictions like we like our buffalo wings. Some like it hot, some like it medium, and some they just have it a little bit mild. Jamie G is always coming in hot with these predictions. You made the 3. Give us a grade for these.
Yeah, mild. This was a spicy mild this week. The chef was mad. He was angry. He took it out on everybody. There was some kick to this mild. I said the Bills offense scores 2+ touchdowns. Pass with flying colors, 3 touchdowns scored for the Buffalo Bills offense here. And then we said that the medium here, in typical Buffalo fashion, mediums got some heat, bro. I'm a medium guy. I like medium. It's enough flavor with the kick you want. The Bills would rush for 100+ yards as a team. Unfortunately, this is a fail. We came up short just by 6 yards, only 94 yards on 19 attempts. Disappointed we didn't crack over that. But that's a fail. We got to call it what it is. Our hot, coming in hot for the hottest, hot was going to be for the 9th consecutive game. The Bills defense will force a turnover. And this is a pass, Mills. We nailed the hot here. Raheem Mostert running down the sideline. Outstanding punch out by Taron Johnson. And then Kiara Elam recovered the fumble. This really changed the momentum in the game. The Bills went on to march down the field and score and get 7 points off that. We'll get the touchdown off that. That was unfortunately Tyler Bass missed the extra point, but we were able to make them pay with 6 points on that one. So awesome moment in the game. And for this 9th consecutive game, the Bills forced a turnover. You got to give them a little bit of credit. They are not a perfect defense. They're missing some pieces. It's not what I want them to be. It's damn frustrating at times. but they've been pretty good at getting turnovers and creating turnovers. I think they lead the league in turnovers.
Lead the league in turnovers and in frustrating Jamie G. Anything else you would like to add on the matchup that we haven't discussed already?
Yeah, I think you saw in the weeks past we've had these dominant wins, and one of the reasons why is because we've had clean sweeps on Jamie G's keys and our predictions. This week we really didn't, we got 2 out of 3 on the predictions, but only 1 out of 4 on the Jamie G's keys, and I think that's why this game was as close as it was. But again, proud of the Bills for winning a close one. Good teams got to figure out ways to win tight games when they don't play their best, when things aren't going perfect. They did that on Sunday.
That's what you have to do. You have to find a way to do your favorite thing, and that is manufacturing the wins. And we like our M's, so let's do another M here. The Mafia moment. Jamie G, what was your favorite moment from this week 9 victory?
A lot of incredible moments here. I'm gonna actually the runner. There's 2 that need to be mentioned, so I'm gonna give a runner up. Runner up was the outstanding play call and execution on the Ray Davis 66-yard touchdown pass. They were coming in hot. Outstanding read by Joe Brady, outstanding execution by Josh Allen, and Ray Davis did the rest. Unbelievable play in that game. Shout out to the Rook, Ray Davis, man. Guy's a goddamn football player. Really enjoy watching him play the game. But my Mafia moment has got to be Tyler Bass on the 61-yarder. 60 longest field goal in Buffalo Bills franchise history. That's crazy. We've had some greats in there with Steve Christie and playing with house money. Like, we've had a lot of good kickers over the years. For him to get the 61-yarder and win it at home with the way things have been going for him against a divisional opponent in front of that fan base, yeah, man, that's Mafia moment all day, dude. Special, special moment.
What the real Mafia moment probably was when the drug tester showed up to test Bass for the performance enhancing drugs after the game. I always like when they randomly show up after somebody does something awesome. And speaking of awesome and M's, Jamie G, we need your Mafia MVP for week 9. Who is the MVP, most valuable player in this victory over the Dolphins?
I got to give it to Josh Allen. I know that that's kind of a cop out, but I'm going to give it to him, man. I mean, 3 touchdowns. Some of the plays he made was outstanding. My personal favorite was the touchdown pass to Quentin Morris in the red zone. I mean, I don't know, maybe one other player can make that play. I mean, it was just unbelievable. But we saw him lead this team as things weren't going well offensively, and he started making right decisions. Even the interception, which really wasn't his fault at all, he called out of the run play because there was a 10-man box and got him singled up. And honestly, if Coleman catches that, that's a touchdown. It was the right call, the right move. I just really appreciate Josh Allen's leadership, his demeanor, not getting too high, not getting too low, and the way he had played this football game. I mean, he clear-cut best player on the field, man. Could not have won this game without him.
Can't do it without him. And yeah, you could probably give it to him every week. So I think he is deserving here, as he is most of the time. That brings us to our Bills bets. Each week, we each make a wager on the Bills game and a single game parlay, a 3-legger we call a tripod. Not the greatest results, unfortunately, Jamie G. I had James Cook over 86.5 rushing and receiving yards. That was minus 115. Only got to 69. Very cool that you get to do the Bill and Ted gag, but 69 is less than 86.5. So that was a loss. You were also on James Cook. You had James Cook 70 plus rushing yards. That was plus 105. He got stuck on 44. You could say maybe Ray Davis stole the thunder a little bit, but didn't matter because we both took the L's on that. And we also missed on our tripod. Again, kind of close. We had the James Cook over 86.5 rushing plus receiving that didn't get there. We had Khalil Shakir 60 plus receiving yards. I believe he got stuck on 50. And then we had a push on our third leg. We had an alternate line, Bills -3. Push on that one, so no go. That would have been plus 525 had we hit, but we didn't. So that is an L on the season. We are still up about 1,219 Bills bucks overall because we're up over 1,000 on our tripods. Jamie G, you were up about 347 on your Bills bets, while I am down about 153. So I'm bringing up the rear. I'm in the caboose. I got to do better next week, and I will. And then we had our draft Joshes. These are our picks for the Buffalo Bills Showdown contest over on Draftkings. DraftKings might say that they're the king, but around here, Josh Allen is the only king for us. And we both said, you know what? You need to play Josh Allen in your captain spot. 16-2, absolutely needed to do that. That was a win. Unfortunately, neither of our value plays really made an impact like we had hoped. He had Keon Coleman at 5,200, Dawson Knox at 2 grand. It turns out the guys you wanted were Mac Hollins, wound up with 5 receptions, 30 yards, 1 touchdown, 14 DraftKings points, and Ray Davis, only 4 carries, 420 yards, but chipped in those 2 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown there. On the other side of the ball, we both thought you wanted Devin Achane, the running back for the Dolphins. That was correct. And looking to Jonnu Smith as a value play at 4K was not bad. Our favorite stacked pair trio was Josh Allen, James Cook, Keon Coleman, Devin Achane. Close but no cigar. You wanted something like that. Probably Josh Allen, a captain, throwing Tua Achane on the other side, get Mac Hollins, Ray Davis, and you got a stew going. So not too shabby. Anything you would have done differently on any of these, Jamie G? We were too heavy on James Cook, maybe a little bit too heavy on Coleman on DraftKings. Any thoughts on the wagers for the draft, Joshes?
Yeah, I think maybe I let myself get caught up in the success and the magic that James Cook had in Miami in week 2. And I really thought that they would be able to duplicate it. I saw this offensive line completely dominate Miami's defensive line. Miami's defensive line was also without Selber, who's now a standing defensive tackle. I got to give Miami's defensive line credit. They were effective in stopping the running game, and they were also effective on getting some pressure on Josh Allen at times. So I think Miami definitely came to play. I think if I had to do it all over again, I would have been not so heavy on Cook and maybe considered. I think I even said every once in a while Mac Hollins has the day. And he certainly did this game. It's just so hard to predict. I think he's a good option for best ball, but so hard to predict that was going to be his thing. And Ray Davis continues to be a player I think worth monitoring at 3,200 as long as he stays there. You worry about volume, but when he's on the field, all he seems to do is make plays.
Yeah, only 6 touches, but definitely paid it off here. And maybe we would approach that a little bit differently had we known that Cooper was going to be out, but then we probably would have been
Right.
even heavier on Keon Coleman. So 6 in one,
Right.
half dozen in the other. One final order of business, and that's the Mafia Mannequin. If you've ever seen the movie Major League, we're doing a similar thing except in reverse. In that movie, every time the team won a game, they would take a piece of clothing off of a fully clothed mannequin. Instead, here on the Mafia Minute, we started out with basically a naked dude in some boxer shorts, and every time the Bills win, we give them something else, albeit an article of clothing or accessory. On the season, we've been slowly adding. He's got himself some aviator shades. He's got a diamond chain. He's got a chicken wing hat. He's got a pet ocelot named Babu. You got a Zubaz cape. You got some Zubaz beer. You got the Labatt. You got blue light in the Zubaz can. So he's looking pretty stylish, but he gets to add something else after this week. Jamie G, what are you putting on the mannequin after this victory?
First of all, who wouldn't hang out with this dude in Hammerlot? I would be there at any of the Bills tailgates with this dude. I mean, I need a Zubaz cape and the chicken wing hat, but I don't want to just relish in how great he looks now because we're continuing to add things every time the Bills win. They won. Mills, it's heading into the chilly time of the year. We're past spooky season. Fall's kind of done. We're heading into the holiday season. We're heading into winter. We need to get this man the playoff push beard. I want to go with a full-grown Fitzpatrick beard. Shout out Fitzmagic, dude. Let's give him the beard. Let's put that baby on him, and let's get him ripe and ready for these cold football months ahead.
Well, it's a shame you can't give him a top hat because he's already got the chicken wing hat. And I guess you could go with the magic wand, but what else goes with a cape but magic? And if you're a magic man, you need the Fitz magic beard. I think it all makes sense. I think the football gods will approve, and I think the Bills Mafia will approve. And that's all that really matters to us. We will be back soon this week to preview the Week 10 matchup, Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. Jamie G, anything else on Week 9 before we get out of here?
Enjoy this one, Bills Mafia. This is a great victory Monday for us. We swept the Dolphins. And just remember every one of those pundits that picked the Dolphins to win the division this year, we swept them. That's right. Another home win. We're 7-2. Let's not get too cocky. We got to stay humble here. We got a long stretch to go, but it's looking like the Bills are their destiny is controlled by them, which is what you want in terms of getting home field advantage, winning the division, and making the playoffs. So 7-2. Enjoy this one. Let's get geared up, man. We got to go on the road I know you guys will travel well. I was so impressed with what you did in Seattle. Let's do it again in Indianapolis on Sunday. We'll be back here to break that one down later in the week as we get ready for game time. Another 4 o'clock game, so you got time to pregame a little bit longer for this one. Go Bills, man. What a great win.
Go Bills. And thanks again for checking out the Mafia Minute presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find us wherever you get your pods and on YouTube, on social media at Seize the Gap FF, on the World Wide Web at MafiaMinute.com. Oh, so simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. And his final task is to get you hyped about this upcoming game and the next episode of the Mafia Minute.
Let's go, Buffalo. Oh, hey. Man, enjoy it, Bills Mafia. We're fired up. We're 7-2. We got a big stretch coming up. Let's get it, man. Go Bills. We'll see you here next time.